video is for my 3D design class. For this assignment, this is assignment number 2. We've just gotten finished with our relief sculpture out of cardboard. Today we're going to be using cardboard again, and you're going to create an intricate cut of a geometric design of some sort. It could be a 5-sided, 6-sided, or 7-sided, I think would be best. I did an 8-sided, and it made an intricate design. So I'll show you how to do that, and you're going to be creating a shape like this, and you're going to be putting your shapes together. So you're going to need your cardboard. The negative space part is going to be what you're going to need. So you're going to cut out the center, get rid of that. So when you're doing your cut, make sure that you're getting an interesting start with a ruler to mark where your points are going to be. That's important. So you kind of have an even, equal amount of space between your Q-tips. Now I have a hot glue gun, which you're going to need. This is better than using regular glue because you'll stand there and wait and wait and wait for it to dry. And instead, this will work fine. The other thing you're going to need is a scissors. You may be asked or wish to cut off the tips of your Q-tips and use the sticks. So I have an example of what I've done with the sticks on this particular work here. Sorry, this little bit sticking to me. Okay, so as you can see in the video, I have white lines here. Those were cut Q-tips. And I put them on there to show you that you can design with Q-tips as a leftover as well. Something that would be interesting. Even the tips you can put on your work. Now this is a work I did last year, and I'm going to move my board and lay it on the table so you can see it a little bit better. It has definitely lots of negative spaces, and the positive is actually copper wrapped around them, copper sheets. And we did embossing on the copper sheets. This year, because we're at home, I don't expect that to be anything like part of the assignment. But you can see where it's going. Now for this assignment, you need a total of 60 Q-tips. You may use more if you wish. One thing I do not want to see is a solid wall of Q-tips lined up to each other to make a shape. You need the negative spaces. The negative spaces are places where the eye is intrigued and the viewer will look at it in different ways. So if you notice, if I change that and turn it to the audience right here versus down, how different that looks. And so when you put your shapes together and you put them all connected to one another, it'll be a very interesting design. Okay, so this one has 8 lines that come out. And you can see how busy that gets. So once again, I'm going to show you how this works. Let me put these aside. Gluing these are easy, but getting them to structurally stand while you're gluing is the tricky part. So I'm going to just take some hot glue, if I can get my little rod in there. Here we go. And I'm just going to stick two sort of together, okay, at the point. It's not directly at the point, but it's kind of close to the point. Now notice how it wants to fall over, and that's always the problem. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold one stem and you're going to glue a little bit, and you want to hold it kind of pushing down on the corner of your cardboard, and then you're going to put another one in. What you have to really make sure of is that you're standing straight up with your structure. You don't want to lean it over working. So it's a little bit of like a thought process in like, am I vertical or am I slouching to one side or another? Okay, so now I got 3 on and they're standing. Much easier than what we did last year. So you want to just work your way around. Don't go consistently next to each other because you can get a lopsided shape. And you can see how that's starting to come together. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. Now I'm going to keep building mine. And I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the end, sticking it in my corner. And I will have to say that my my diamond shape is pretty good. I did this in a rush while I had kids in my class. But I'd like my corners to stick out a little bit. My design looks a little bit cockeyed this way, and I'd like it to be bloomed out. So I'm just going to pop mine outside of my cardboard because I use the cardboard for what it's used for, and that's to help stand my structure. Now that it's standing, I really don't need it anymore. So I could actually move it if I wish to. But I got a couple more corners to deal with, so I'm going to stick it back in there. These are a little bit bendable when you're ready to go and finish by moving it. You'll be able to place them back kind of where you need to. If you ever need to rip them off, please rip them off. And you know what's cool is I have, now these aren't lined up, but I have a line here and this one's directly in that line. So these lines that I have on my cardboard have helped me orchestrate this a little bit. And any tip that you can use for this assignment, even though it's just Q-tips, it's a very easy assignment, but that actually helps you get it even. The other thing that made it even for me is that I took little tiny short sticks and stuck them inside of my triangle stems, I guess you would call them, or legs. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, when I cut this little tip off, make sure you cover it because it goes swinging out across the room. Takes a sharp scissors and some gumption. Okay, so I got little tiny sticks. And those little sticks will be used in between. So what you do is you hold it, and this is where you get really tiny bit of glue on there. Try not to over glue because you can burn yourself. Now when I lift this up, I'm just kind of putting that right like that. And you can see how the little stick is looking. Okay, so I'm going to move it and do another one. I really don't know that I need, oops, my glue string is sticking. So instead of going to the direct one next to it, I could go to the opposite side. But I like, personally, I do like to go directly next door. Just kind of open it up, stick it on one side good, and then stick it on the other side. Do not be deterred by the fact that this can be a little clumsy for you, or like my first one went smoothly, my second one was lumpy. I mean, it just really, anything that could have happened to it did. And I just finished a really good one. But in the end, they look good together. So don't let that distract you from thinking that you're doing anything wrong. Now, after I get this one done, as a whole, I would put these pieces together in some way. You are welcome to try this. However, it's a little less complicated for the visual. Let me move my mat again. So I would expect that there would be too many holes for this one. You have to use sticks of your Q-tips to make it decorative in some way and interesting for the viewer. It has to be interesting to me too. So we're really doing a structure. Now, what is this structure all about? It is about modular sculpture. And if you remember our principle of design, harmony, it comes into this. What a modular structure is, it's made out of one thing only, repeated and repeated and repeated and put in different directions and different ways, and it has harmony to it. It makes you kind of soothe in your emotions. It feels good somehow. It looks interesting, but it also has a repetitive quality to it that gives it kind of an organic feel to it. All right, so I'm going to leave that with you on the idea of what is organic, and there are samples on Google Classroom, so check those out, and also what is a modular sculpture. Have fun with this one. After you're finished, you're going to paint it. Paint it one color, please. Don't go crazy, because it takes it from harmony and it moves it to variety. It's a very much a harmony project. Okay? Alrighty. Have a good time. Bye-bye.